Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. As you know, we are having the first event of the Association of Spanish Scientists in Boston, better known as ECUSA-Boston. We are really excited about having you all here, and we are willing to have more events like this. So in this event, we want to show you what is this association, what we want to do with it, and just show you an example of the kind of activities that we want to do related to networking, career development, sharing ideas and resources between people working in science and technology, and of course sharing good food, drinks, and thoughts. So thank you for being here. My name is Joaquín López-Terray, and I'm a postdoctoral fellow. I'm a physicist working on medical imaging as part of the Madrid MIT Difusion Consortium program. And I have to say that when Christina started talking about this association, I was really excited about it, and we found really quickly that it was a great idea and we needed to promote. So this is how this started, and now we have just begun. So the event will have three main parts. There will be an introduction to the association, then the roundtable, and at the end, a networking reception with Spanish status. The event is being recorded, so if you want to check later, you can see the video from the ECUSA webpage. It is also being broadcasted, so from the links in the webpage, you can actually get access. So before continuing, we want to thank our sponsor for this event. We received a lot of support, financial, also institutional and in kind from different institutions. We want to thank Boston University, the Division of Graduate Medical School, and especially Dr. Iman and Yolanda Cobalco. And also from the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology. We have here José Ignacio, the CEO, and Ana Norta, who have came from Spain and Washington to be part of this event. And also from the support from the Spanish Embassy, and the Consulate in Boston. Thank you for your support. And also from the restaurant Tapas Bar Tapeo, Estragon, and Iberica. So let's start with the introduction to ECUSA. Cristina Vázquez is going to give a speech about how this, what is this association. She's one of the founders and the current president of the association. She is a postdoctoral fellow here at VU, and she has been for many years promoting different events, connecting people, and she's also part of a program for mentoring postdoc here also at VU School of Medicine. So it was that the passion that Cristina has for connecting people that led her to start this idea together with Isabel Dominguez. And please let me welcome Cristina.
Thank you, Joaquin, for this nice introduction. And thanks everyone in the audience, to the panelists, and also to the sponsors for making this inaugural event ECUSA-Boston happen. I would also like to thank José Ignacio Fernández Vera, CEO of the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology, and Ana Elorza, Science Coordinator at the Spanish Embassy in Washington, D.C., and Petit representative, for coming tonight to witness the success of this event, which is reflected in the number of people in this room tonight. Since I arrived to the USA, I had the impression that something was missing because we didn't have any association for professionals working in science and technology, despite the elevated number of people working in these areas. The first time I heard about ECUSA-DC, I knew that we had to do something like that here. I talked to Isabel Dominguez, who is an assistant professor here at VU, and she happened to have the same idea. So we worked together to create ECUSA-Boston. ECUSA stands for Spanish Scientists in the USA. But we are not alone. We are a large community. In fact, a similar project started a few years ago in UK, and it was followed by some people in Sweden, Denmark, Germany, and Spain, and even outside of Europe, in Japan and Australia. Here in the USA, we have ECUSA in Washington, D.C., where it was originally founded, now in Boston, and New York is going to join us shortly. Before I tell you more about ECUSA-Boston and our goals, I would like to know who is in this room tonight. Who works in science? Please raise your hand. What about technology? Any engineers in the room? Scientific communication? Education? What about administration related to any of these areas? Who in this room has an interest in any of these areas, even if you don't work here? ECUSA-Boston and ECUSA in general is open to all of you. And after tonight, we would like all of you to join ECUSA. This diversity is reflected in our board of directors. In ECUSA-Boston, we have a great, terrific team. They have worked really hard to make all this happen. And we have people working not only in academia, but also in industry. We have engineers, journalists, and people working in communication. You can recognize us tonight because we have our name tags with the logo, if you want to talk to us later. In ECUSA-Boston, we have the following objectives. We want to create a network for scientists, technologists, and science and technology teachers, communicators, and educators, and administrators, as well as people interested in these areas, because we want all of you to be able to share ideas and experiences, even if you don't work on the same field. We also want to increase social awareness of science and technology, because here in the US, we have many people doing high-impact work, and we want everyone to know about it. Our last objective is to serve as a point of contact of the Spanish and American institutions, as well as social and mass media, because they might be looking for advice from professionals working in science and technology, and you might be able to help them, and they might help you as well. So this might work in both directions. To fulfill these objectives, we are working on the program for the next year. To help you succeed in your career, we will organize some events where we will improve your skills to find a job, write a resume, or nail an interview. We also have the International Mentor Program that is already running. In this program, we have mentors who are originally from Spain but are working right now in the US. And they will teach and advise mentees who are in Spain, their students. The directors of this program are Tafida Castaño and Maria Soriano. Maria Soriano is in this room tonight. Please raise your hand if you want to talk to her later if you have questions about the program. To learn about the high-impact work developed by professionals in science and technology, we will bring speakers from academia, industry, entrepreneurs, and education. And to bring all of you together, we will organize networking events. We truly believe that ECUSA can have an impact in your careers, but also in the way people see Spanish professionals. To contribute to this success, we need your input. So if you have any idea, suggestion, if you want to organize an activity or event, please contact us and we will make it happen. This is our email, boston@ecusa.es. You can also contribute to the success of ECUSA by joining the association. It's really easy. We will send you an email next week with a request, and you just have to fill it out with your basic information. Besides, as my mother says, no hay excusa para no ser de ECUSA. Which means there's no excuse not to join ECUSA. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to José Ignacio Fernández Vera, CEO of the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology, Este. This foundation has helped many associations like ECUSA in different parts of the world and in Spain, and they have helped us as well. José Ignacio, thank you again for coming all the way from Spain.
I would like to give you a brief overview of the activities carried out by CIT, and also I would like to comment our challenge. In the CIT, we are constantly working to bring science and society closer together. As the foundation cover the central government competencies with regard to communication, dissemination, and information in the area of the science, technology, and innovation. To achieve this, the Foundation offers an annual request for proposal that is competitive in nature and has the aim of stimulating dissemination and communication in science and technology. The CIT also supports the various platforms required for dissemination and communication within the sphere of science and innovation. For instance, the network of scientific cultural units, and has at its disposal CIT, the news service, whose aim is to increase the level of scientific community information within the media. I'm happy to say that the good work carried out by the news agency has just been rewarded. Last Saturday, CIT was awarded with a Prisma Prize for the best initiative on scientific dissemination 2014. The Foundation carries out activities aimed at promoting and developing an interest in science, wells, and me? This is all. Don't worry. I lost that. Okay. my hands. Okay, let's see. Okay, the foundations carry out activities aimed at promoting and developing an interest in science while supporting persons innovative talent, as well as supporting the management structures of information and scientific resources. The DECID develops programs and activities to promote increased private participation in Spanish science. We are convinced that an increase in scientific culture and interest is dependent on the active participation of society as a whole. Traditionally, science and technology systems are defined by those involved in them and the type of interactions that characterize them. A classic reference in this respect is Sabato's triangle. To put it simple, the fundamental premise of Sabato is that national systems of science and technology are defined by three features: government, businesses, and research centers. A similar approach can be found in more modern concepts of the national system of innovation used by Freeman and the OECD, or the innovation model known as cyclophilics. They all share the same approach that we could call institutional. The key players in these systems are the governments, businesses, and universities, or research centers. But in all of these systems, can we find a suitable place for a social agent that plays an increasingly important role, the citizen? For many years now, participation of the public in science has become increasingly important. The traditional channels of political participation are being increasingly questioned, and new processes and mechanisms of direct participation by civil society are appearing. At the same time, science and technology is increasingly involved in many areas that enter into political and social agendas: environmental disaster and nuclear service, and international conference on climate change. In all of these cases, the political agenda is filled with issues on which decisions have to be made, and on which civil debates are organized, enhanced more often than not by new technology. This all means that direct public participation is playing an increasingly important role. In the specific, with the help of various experts, among whom I would like to give a special mention to Professor Miguel Quintanilla, we are working through private foundations on promoting social participation in science. In Spain, there are over 13,000 foundations with a budget of around 8,005 million euros. According to a study carried out by the Spanish Association of Foundations, more than a third of the foundations affirm an aim related to share science. In fact, this figure of 30% coincides with the percentage of the Spanish citizens who would be willing to donate financially to science. However, Spain, the contribution of the private non-profit institutions to science accounts by 0.01% of the GDP, a lower figure than neighboring countries such as Italy, Portugal, or the United Kingdom, where individual contributions are 9 times larger than in Spain. As a result, we feel there is an ample margin to increase contribution from foundation to science. To achieve this increase from the DECID, we have set up a program, Foundation for Science, with the dual purpose of ensuring that private foundations see science as an area of interest, while it's also increasing the investment in research and development to move the Spanish figure closer to the level of the surrounding countries. This is the challenge. And for the real comprehension of science that the Spanish society should have, according to a report published by the Royal Society in 2011, science can only be understood as an international enterprise based on three basic systems: state-of-art of high-quality scientific infrastructure, research teams well established, and young scientists contributing with new ideas and pursuing new challenges. And that is what we are talking about. In Spain, society must know that the Spanish young researchers working abroad are connected to this huge international enterprise called science. An enterprise which Spain has just developed for 30 years now. Finally, I wish to express my gratitude for the great work you are carrying out launching this community of Spanish scientists in Boston. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Jose Ignacio and Alorta, for being here tonight. Now we're going to start with the round table. We have 4 great panelists that will talk about their successful career in Boston and their experience from their work in fields related to science and technology. I think that the diversity of their background, they have been working in medicine, research, academia, industry, entrepreneurship. I think that it reflects the environment that Boston has. It's a really particular environment. I think that it's great for developing new ideas. And I think that especially ECUSA-Boston can play a key role connecting people for creating and developing new projects. So let me welcome Belén Carrillo, Isabel Elorza, Israel Ruiz, and Rocío López. Welcome to the table. Thank you for being here tonight. There are 2 microphones, so you can use them to answer the questions. I will start briefly introducing to the public. They have a very interesting career. I will just briefly describe it. Then I will ask a few questions to them, and at the end it will be open for questions from you. So let me start with on the right, from right to the left, with Belén Carrillo Rivas. She's the head of R&D of innovative projects for biotherapeutics R&D at Pfizer and worldwide R&D Pfizer. She did her PhD in immunochemistry in Oxford, UK, and then she came to Boston. First studied at Tufts University, and then to Harvard Medical School as a postdoc. And since then, she has been working in many different biotech and pharma companies, developing successful products and helping in the development of many different projects. She likes working at the interface of science and business, and having identified and selected transformative deals and launched many different innovative strategies. She has developed a strong network between biotech, academic, pharma, and venture capital communities, both in Boston and in different areas of the world. So thank you, Belén, for being here today. So next to her is Isabel Dominguez. She is one of the founders with Christina of ECUSA-Boston. She started with a master in biochemistry from the Basque Country University, and then a PhD in Universidad Autónoma de Madrid. She came as a postdoctoral fellow also to Boston, and she has been working here for 20 years, and now she's assistant professor at the Department of Medicine at the Boston University School of Medicine, where we are. She is studying his research is based on cancer and embryonic development, and for many years it has been committed to the mentoring people in their careers. She's involved in different several programs. She's the co-chair of Faculty Development and Diversity Committee here at BU, and assistant director of the Medical Students Summer Research Program. Thank you for being here tonight. Rocío López Diego is the director of the Think Brain Healthcare Consulting. She obtained her MD in Universidad de Valencia in Spain, and she completed her PhD in microbiology and immunology in Southern California. She then moved to Michigan to do a residency, and then came also as a postdoctoral fellow to study multiple sclerosis at Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard Medical School. Then she started working there as a junior faculty and associate neurologist. Now she's chief of the neurologists at Harvard Venture Vanguard Medical Associates, and she's one of the founders of the Think Brain and Este, that are a private enterprise focused on comprehensive health strategy, integrating eco-social factors as well as innovative technology. So thank you. And finally, Israel Ruiz. He is the Executive Vice President and Treasurer of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. He's born in Barcelona and holds a degree in industrial engineering from Politècnica University of Catalonia. Then he obtained a master's degree at MIT Sloan School here in Boston. He has been working before joining MIT at Hewlett-Packard and Nissan Automotive. And in MIT, he started his career as a manager of financial planning and analysis. Then he was named director of finance and then executive vice president and treasurer. He serves in many different boards of directors, like the edX, it's the MIT Harvard Common Education Initiative for Online Learning, and Auras Bioscience, MIT Technology Review, and some others. So thank you for being here. So I want to start with a really open question that, as you know, the title of this roundtable is from Spain to Boston, a road to success. And I want to start with this. What is the reason why you decided to come to the US to work? And what do you think that are the differences, the advantages and disadvantages of working here in Boston respect to Spain? So we can start with Rocío.
Sí, porque me ayuda también. Sí, bueno, yo pienso que la razón por la que casi todos venimos, y que la mayor ventaja, es que aquí hay posibilidades que en España no existen. Por lo menos no existían en el momento en que nosotros venimos. Al menos ese fue mi caso. Tanto en educación como en oportunidades laborales. La otra ventaja que creo que existe aquí en comparación con hacer cosas en España es que aquí hay una mentalidad mucho más abierta en cuanto a la colaboración, a el intercambio de ideas y el apoyar a una persona por lo que es, y no por quién es o que a quién conoce o en qué lugar se encuentra. Y que es la propia mentalidad de la sociedad americana por su evolución histórica. Ellos tienen una gran pasión por el Sorry, should I be speaking in English? I'm really sorry. Should I start again?
No.
I didn't realize I was speaking in Spanish. I'm really sorry. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of being here? The advantage or the reason why most of us come here is because we have opportunities here, either education-wise or work-wise, that we didn't have in our own country. And so we have to come here to get more training or to expand our horizons or our opportunities. I think this really has to do a lot with the mentality of the American society and their historical background. They really have a passion for pushing boundaries, for conquering frontiers, for collaboration, and for really not taking no for an answer and not thinking anything is impossible. So I think the society here is really incredibly supportive of what you can bring to the table, what you can offer, and if you work really hard and you have the right kind of mentors and you associate with the right kind of people, they're really willing to give you the opportunity no matter who you are or where you're from.
Israel?
Probably move on to the second question because I wasn't agreeing to that. I mean, I could just add one thing. There's a difference between attraction and retention, right? And I think attraction may be very well with opportunities that are here and you come and get really excited about. And I think the retention aspect of this, to me, is about impact. And it's about the opportunity to, besides all of these characteristics, it's about magnifying and amplifying the impact. About being bold, about pursuing those frontiers and not stopping, and really having a desire, a passionate desire to change the world for good. As I've said many times and I've written about it, that sounds like una americanada, but that's actually pretty true. And I do think very much that the people, particularly in Boston, the scientific and technological community, thinks that very deeply. Okay.
Yeah. So let me. So one of the ideas of creating that motivated creating ECUSA-Boston is that we want to establish connections between different researchers, entrepreneurs, and we, especially not only between us, but also with people working in Spain that could be interested in some connections with Boston. So we want to know what kind of connections do you keep with Spain, and if you are involved in some specific programs or initiatives related to mentoring people or establishing connections with people. So, Isabel, can you comment on that?
For me, the relationships that I have with Spain are very wide. I help mentor some people there, and I help friends with their students sometimes. So they come here, they come to CC. I try to help them choose an laboratories. I'm also in contact with the people in Dedicada Parliament. It's an association that's created by the government in the last country to retain people back, to bring back people to big colleges. So I have to start with that and help sometimes to get contacts with the US. But I don't have any formal mentorship or kind of mentorship.
So, Belén, do you have questions?
So I guess I think I wanna add on the video first question, and I don't think with the colleagues the I mean something that I found in this country is extremely unique is that this is a country where there are second chances can be. I mean, if you come here with a career path and you get exposed to the different ecosystem and you feel that inside of you that you really want to change, move careers, switch careers. I mean, this is a country and gives you all the opportunities to do that without even judging you what you do and how you do it. In fact, it embrace that you have open. So I think that's something that, you know, from my perspective is very important. Sorry, your question was?
Oh, there are some connections that
Yeah, so I actually, well, I have my whole family out there, but connections, I mean, there are life as well, but at the moment, you know, I work with us and I've worked with us for the past 5 years. And I actually, we established relationships with many countries in Europe and always pay very close attention to what's happening in Spain. And if, as head of R&D innovation and strategy, the largest division advisor, I mean, I do a lot of externalization and I build analysis. And a recent one that I started, maybe not just recently, just have a go, with establishing a Center for Development Expansion. We were looking at European countries and the first thing I did was go to Spain. So we didn't have, you know, here. And right now I have to say we are having several conversations with Catalunya and Barcelona. So I really try to have something on hands to really see what is going on in Spain, as well as, you know, other suggestions that I make as a corporate. So apart from that, again, I always, every time I hear somebody that was in Boston, I offer, you know, everything to them. I have created an MIT Alliance, an entrepreneurial resident program. And I have had just up to 25 small MIT interns working for Pfizer. Every time there is a Spanish name, I make sure that everybody looks at the resume and that it can make things for them. So for me, you know, it's actually a good smile on my face when I see people from Spain approaching us and trying to work with us, and I will do everything I can to facilitate.
No, perfect. So, from you, Israel, you want to comment on this? You have connections with Spain and...
Well, I've tried. So I'd say it's really, I've tried throughout the last 15 years to establish connections. I'd say the most, or the strongest that I have now are with organizations that work with young children and young students all the way through college. Because particularly my experience has been that either they are discouraged from going abroad and really kind of saying, well, no, you should stay close, and that's what everybody did, and that, and want to do that. And it's hard to go out. It is definitely hard to go out. It's definitely hard to take all the things and go. But I work to just try to bring passion to their thoughts, bring excitement to their thoughts, which I have to say in most cases that's not the case in a typical classroom. And that to me silences me a lot when I see actually my children's education here. It's just go to public school, but the kind of passion of the teacher and how they're really pushed from the beginning to really push those boundaries. I try to do that. I've done that through one foundation in California and another one in Valencia. And that to me is very rewarding and a very personal level. In terms of professional guys, at this point, the professional guys mostly with university, I'd say that is actually very difficult. Established professional guys with universities has been at the level that I think we all try to achieve. We try, we want, but mostly and the most impactful way is through departments and individuals and institutions.
Just a couple of things. So I've been here 19 years and I have very few professional connections with Spain, and that's a mistake. So if anybody can learn from my mistake, because I think we're going to talk about similar things later, it's really crucial that you try to stay connected to your colleagues and what's going on in the country, or else you'll regret it later. So learn from that. But I do have some with colleagues. I also provide advice to a medical company in Barcelona, and I try to stay abreast of what's going on with the University of Valencia. But one thing that has happened that has been really good in the last 3 weeks is me and other people here in this room, we have become involved with the International Mentoring Program. And I will tell you that it's the same as being on drugs for the last 2 weeks. It's been incredibly fulfilling and exciting to see the level of interest that has been from Spanish universities and how excited the Spanish students are to embark in this endeavor. So that is my main connection right now, and I'm really, really glad I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think that's the International Mentoring Program is actually a great idea that is connected with ECUSA, so we're really happy to have this going. So my first question would be related to what is your opinion about ECUSA-Boston? I heard that you just heard about this and then you start thinking like, what role can it play in Boston, and what would you expect for it? Or which kind of activity would you be more interested in? So we can start from Belén.
I was there for the day of March I did very recently, a couple of days ago and today. I think this is actually, network is crucial, and in particular in city like Boston. I mean, we work in environments in which there are many different stakeholders, and it's very important. I mean, we base our success, particularly the success that I need in collaboration. It's about collaborative innovation. So I think the fact that we have a group of institutional groups that brings us all together, and just by nature, you open up and, oh, I prefer Spain, so what do you do? And I think we are even more prone to talk and to have that as a catalyzer. I think is great. Things that you could do. I think we're just maybe looking at, this is what I do. I'm actually the head of the Women's Leadership Network at Pfizer. I have 900 women actually on my network. And the beginning is like, well, how can I help them? For them to do maybe like a survey and see which are the different fields that colleagues work on and for their administration. So workshops and bringing some speakers from institutions. So you know, I think that would be a good way to start, particularly as in Boston is very
Well, I think that it is clear that your motivation is valid, so maybe Rocío can comment on this.
Me again. Well, I was almost ashamed when I was talking to Christina saying, I've never heard of ECUSA before. I'm so sorry. And then I learned that this is really the inaugural event, and this is just a brand new time. So what can ECUSA do here? Well, I think it's really crucial for people who come from Spain to have some kind of support, not only professionally, but also socially. When we talk about the advantages or disadvantages of being here, the main disadvantage we didn't discuss that I think is the personal sacrifice we all do and the lack of social support that we have in this society, which can sometimes be very work-oriented, very private, and very individualistic. So coming to Boston and having already a huge network, which is what Dylan mentioned, of people who understand you and the kind of circumstances that you're going through is very important. The other two things that I want to mention, one is that it really should allow for an exchange of talent going both ways. We are always, you know, interested in making sure that we do well here. I think it's going to be very important also that we open Spanish science up to America, and that we also promote it and also encourage them to come to Spain and to know what we have to offer there. So those are the two things I would remark.
Maybe just to add a couple, is that I think there are, in this region, and especially in the universities and colleges, a lot of resources that do similar things. So I would encourage the ECUSA to really tap into those networks and not to build a new thing that would build those kind of channels, but rather kind of connect to them. And I would also kind of urge you to rapidly look at maybe the survey or identify what are the actual interests. Because in my experience, these kinds of things have been tried, maybe not with the backing and not the support, but and there's a peak of excitement. And then we're all very busy and we're all working very different narrow fields. And that becomes kind of, it's less about the country that you come from, the discipline and what you're interested in. And I think that will become kind of the nexus for ECUSA. Maybe you have an annual event like this, but everything else is much more about what we do.
I think that people here in this room will help us to continue and develop activities, and I think that it's gonna, we're gonna try to keep the momentum and continue with many interesting activities for all. So, well, my last question would be more related to what kind of advice from your experience you would give to someone who wants to start working here in Boston or has just started and wants to continue. If from your experience there are some things that you should do or you should try not to do. So I think that we can start from Rocío.
How about Isabel for a change? I think she's been very quiet.
Only when I'm founding associations, I'm not quiet. So for people that just come here for the first time, I'm not trying to find the corner. I find it's a hard thing to do. I would suggest that you do anything, participate in a volunteer activity, any type of activity where somebody here in the US can meet you and can vouch for you. Having an advocate, having somebody that can write for you a letter of recommendation is essential. Here in the US, we have a letter, we have somebody that picks the phone and says, this guy or this girl is absolutely awesome. That is invaluable here. So I would recommend that you guys do that. For people that are working already here and want to continue working here, if you just arrive and you want to continue here, you have to change the way you think. And it is true. I mean, it is for me, at least, it was adapting to the US mentality in the US society is not easy. Not being able to, things simple as not being able to touch people, afraid of you, or things like this that you have to just keep. You have to keep all these sort of social barriers and sometimes political correctness that we don't have as much in Spain. But apart from the society, when you are at work, one thing that is essential is that you really adapt to what the environment that you are in is and where it is expected from you here. And there are a number of differences. I work in the academic field. And the expectations here in the academic field are not the same as in Spain. You have to learn different things that you may not be doing the same, or may not be doing it the same way. You just have to allow. You have to write grants in a different way. You have to sell your stuff in a different way. You just have to adapt, no matter what. So if you want to stay here, it's the only way to try.
So I guess maybe a couple of things. I mean, the advice that I would give everybody, and here's what I thought was that this is why just think big. Just get out there and think big. If someone they come and say, oh, you have an accent. Well, I have an accent because I speak 2 languages, just to start with. So just really make sure that you surround yourself by mentors. If you find somebody you are interested, maybe from this actually this would be a very good thing to do here from the ECUSA. Maybe identify who could be good mentors for this group. And just give them advice. Again, you know, who really success, if you really want to be successful, it's not about how big you are or how well you speak the English or, you know, it's about who evolves that. So you just need to be very agile and you need to adjust to the situations and get very flexible about your mentality and everything, you know, you just go. You just have to go with it, but go for it. Just go for it.
Right.
Maybe I would just build on that, and I would say you must be adaptable and you have to be resilient. Right? So I think it is tough. It is really tough when you go in first. It's really social, maybe just a different shock. But if you don't stay open-minded, I mean, I had many friends of mine who just kind of stayed with the same thoughts for 6 months and went back. And that to me is kind of close to giving up. And this is another society that really rarely gives up. So I think you have to overcome that resiliency. And I think that's a big factor.
Amazingly, I don't have anything to add because these were the things I really wrote a list of things. The first one was to have a vision and clear goals of what you want to achieve when you come here. Once you're here and you go for it, to really be open and flexible, which is what you've been saying over and over and over. And I think we cannot say enough. Probably all of us are doing things that we didn't think we would be doing when we came here. So many of you probably are doing the exact same thing. The second thing that is super important is having mentors. And I think you need a mentor in Spain to help you come here and to connect you with the right people here, and then you need a mentor when you're here. And you need mentors at every single stage of your career. Don't think because you've reached associate professor, suddenly you cannot learn anymore. That's a mistake as well. And then to just be ambitious and just aim for the sky. It really is possible here.
Thank you very much. So I think that now it's time for questions from you. We have a couple of microphones. I think that Rebecca can bring them. So if you feel more comfortable making the question in Spanish, that's fine. And if for questions related to ECUSA, we're going to have a separate moment after this, and Christina can do it. So for the panelists, especially if you want for one specific one or all, let me first.
Hi, I'm Karen Fiber Consulting. I work across education, innovation, business, and global development. And,
I'm a part of a region of local, regional.
Can you stand up? People can hear you better.
So I've worked in STEM fields, and I'm also very globalized, worked and studied and lived abroad, and I came here to go to Harvard about 10 years ago, and I agree with all these things you're saying about being open, et cetera, and I've been to Spain a number of times as well. So one question I have, I'm a part of a STEM network, a STEM whole movement here that's state funded, and it's mobilizing something like 8 chapter STEM networks across the state. And it's to increase, student participation in STEM fields. One of the things I think is missing in Massachusetts is a sense of the globalized aspect of things. So I have a question and idea. The question I'd be curious about what the STEM education is there is from K-12 in Spain, And then my idea is an invitation almost, to maybe a micro movement, to invite ECUSA into this STEM network in Massachusetts, so they begin to get to know you, and you begin to get to know them, and there could be some interesting partnerships and collaborations over time, because you need to prepare the next generation at a much earlier stage. And it's such a globalized world, and I really believe that it's really missing in the Massachusetts STEM movement. So it could be a way for, could be a win-win in a lot of different levels. So you're welcome to connect, and I can connect you in, and I love it.
I will leave it coming without you afterwards. It's one of the things that we discussed in the university studies, and how we can how kids in school become more scientists, papers in science, or journalists in science, and how we can bring that passion that we don't have the fields in the classroom, so these kids can actually feel the passion that they do, particularly for the minority population here, particularly the Latinos that we can have more, because they see us, that we have this access, they may have too, and we have succeeded. And I think that brings them some pride and push that you may not have, you are not foreigner. So this is something that I think we see already has started. We haven't started with this in the circumstances, but it's something that I would really like to talk to you, someone who would like to start with that.
Even Skype sessions, you
Yeah,
know, just
absolutely. Inexpensive
ways.
And I think that's your suggestion is, well, I think that Israel has already commented on that it's important to connect this with the existing activities and organizations. I think that's certainly a really good idea. So, more questions? Please stand up.
My question was also Yvette, you mentioned that you've been trying to work to make affiliations for 15 years with universities, and it hasn't been possible. Will you further elaborate on some of the details why you found it difficult? And my other question would be for Isabel. Isabel, you mentioned that you wanted to actually start doing more. Actually, first, if I could just get this for a big head.
I'll answer your second question.
No.
So let me elaborate on my point. So my point is that typically what happens is the collaborations, I'm sure you're all examples of these, collaborations don't happen at the institutional level. They don't start at the institutional level. They are bottoms up. They grow up with two having kind of come on, and then a spark will fly, and then you'll go and do the research. That's how actually we start all of the collaborations that are actually successful. I would say universities, typically all across Europe, but certainly in Spain, have a desire to associate themselves with a big institution. Pick one. And then kind of announce that X-Y partnership. I'm being pretty blunt, but that is kind of what the status is. And that's not really how we, certainly at MIT, that's not the way we do collaboration. It is about a program, it is about searching excellence together and collaborating together. And that happens sometimes, and then you grow it, and it becomes very big. That path is very hard to find. Finding that kind of group of critical mass in a single university in Spain about that discipline is, in my experience, difficult. At least in the science and technology fields that we represent. There are, and Vision is an example. It's a bold example. I mean, if you were kind of in the know of the numbers and the backing and the people, that doesn't tend to be the kind of critical mass and sizable program that a Spanish university would tackle.
So my second question was actually for Rocio, and Rocio, thank you very much. The second one was for Rocio. Rocio, you really emphasized about finding a mentor, and I agree. I think that's very, very important at every level, professional student. Could you give us maybe 3 bullet points of what would you identify for somebody to be as a mentor?
Well, obviously they have to be working in a field that I'm interested in and have accomplished a certain level of excellence. But I think it's very important that you get the feel, and you go with your gut feeling, and you get the feel that this person is selfless, and they're really interested in pushing you up and promoting you without expecting things in return. They're not wanting your work or your paper, sure, that's secondary, but that they're really proud of you becoming the best you can be. And there are some people who are like that and some people who aren't. Whoever's like that is a good mentor. They don't have to actually be the star at the university, but they have to have a position from which they can help you and have a mentality that is really selfless and take pride on your progress and your success. Is that good enough for you? You look like you wanted more concrete.
I was thinking maybe perhaps would it be something that not only within your field but connected in your field has more profound experience within your interest and along those lines?
So I'll speak about my own experience. I've normally had several mentors at once, and there are people who give me advice professionally, and there are people who support me personally, and there are people who guide my vision of what I want to do. And again, you really go with your gut. You see how you connect with different people at different levels, and you really try to nurture that kind of connection. And mentors can be very formal or very informal, but whoever has an influence in you accomplishing what you can and getting better, it's a mentor. It doesn't have to be so well defined.
Please stand up.
My name is Anna. I'm a PhD student and I have part of my PhD center in Venezuela. And I think it's great that you have this association here in Boston for people that haven't had this before. I just feel that this kind of associations should have a both-way collaboration, which means that you go to Spain and you bring brilliant people here. You should also support brilliant students to come back to Spain and grow something there. Because what I feel is that a lot of PhD students are coming to the US, are going to Australia, China, whatever, because we don't have the same support in Spain, and that's true, but we should change something. So I think that this kind of association can also bring something good to Spain in the way that collaborations are amazing, you are very successful people, so I'm sure if you are great here, you are also great there, and you can do something good in your own country.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I agree with you 199%. However, and maybe you want to talk about this, have you ever tried to go back to Spain? Was it easy? That's why we're here. So the mentality.
I feel that, I don't know, you just, here, what do you have here? You have money, right? You have good projects. Why don't we do something else in your department? I don't know, I'm also here looking for collaboration.
Because there is lack of infrastructure. Because you need, it's not on your own, you depend on collaborations, you depend on other partners. And you can be out there and you know, just champion things, but you need a foundation. You need a network. And you know, I've tried a couple of things I got back to Spain. And you know, even you know, the things that I was looking for, but what I've heard from my colleagues as well. Let's say you want to build like that. And you got this amazing scientist, this great idea that you felt, you know, could be translated into a very differentiated job. You need venture capital firms. You need, you know, supporting groups. You need those that can be collaborators close by that actually have the expertise in that particular, you know, area. I mean, you need that network, and it's very competitive. I mean, you can't just get a little thing in your hometown, but if you really want to be out there, you have to compete with big ones, and you need that support. And I think Spain is getting there, and again, I'm really evolving, and I hope, you know, it does. But right now, it's going to be in a slow process. It's not difficult, it's not going to be possible, but it's for many of the opportunities and many of the people, it's just non-viable.
For those who have not been able to hear the question was related to which role can play ECUSA to improve the ecosystem of the environment in Spain and for science and technology. Because there are many possibilities, and it would be good to bring something back to Spain. And of course, yeah, I agree with the comments. So that's, we have a new microphone, so we're only, yes.
Thanks. So, I'm working part-time, work in studying at Babson College. Before coming here, I work at ECUSA-Boston, actually, I'm one of the centers from ECUSA-Boston in San Sebastian. My question is more directed to Israel. So, yes, sorry for that. Basically, one of the ways for the science and technology to have impact in society, besides the academic impact, is social. Sorry, that's the word. Sorry, no, it works again. Okay. So, one of the impacts is the economic impact. And actually, this also helps science and technology to be sustainable. That's one of the problems actually right now in Spain. And I've been here for only 1 year, and I'm fascinated about how especially MIT deals with manage all the technology transfer, basically from the lab to the market. Since we have here people from the Spanish government, represent the Spanish government, what would be your advice on the key points, the key learning points that you got here in Boston, actually to increase, to enhance, and to promote the technology transfer from the lab to the market in Spain?
It's just time to move to food and Thank you for the question. I mean, I think it's, I don't know how much time we have, but it is really the reason I'm here. I not tried to go back. I have not. Although I have had 1,000 offers to go back. And the kind of a question, and I think the approach was always been, well, you guys are doing great work here, and I'm just going to kind of bring you back. I'll fly you business. I'll bring you back, and you can replicate what you do there, because after all, you're doing it, right? Which is similar to your question. I want to get a little bit of your question. Without really understanding how this ecosystem works, and I can't claim I understand it, but I've been 15 years in it, and I'm actually trying to move it and the engine of innovation. And in fact, we don't use the word science in the concept that we do it. We do two things at MIT. We do research, which in many ways is scientific research, but there's other kinds of research. There's education. And then when you put those two with passionate individuals like themselves, you generate innovation. I've hosted many visits from the UK, from Australia, from Germany, and stuff. So the desire to actually learn and not copy, and I'll say, well, when you hear university and industry relationships in Spain is bad, I think that's a fact. It is. So they come and say, well, how do you do it? Oh, and then you'll see that there's a proliferation of technology licensing offices in the last 10 years. There's IP protection, intellectual property protection is really what makes innovation work, and it's not. You guys are the ones that make innovation work. The postdocs that are actually at the laboratories and have the ambition to go and talk to the Pfizer guys and say, hey, could you give me $250,000 to try this out? And when you put all these elements together, you get the kind of ecosystem that gets and continues to innovate. And then on top of that, you do it for 150 years, and you get to a critical amount that's important. So I've shared the formula. The formula is actually very simple, but it has to start small, with a critical mass in a discipline, with the resources and infrastructure that's necessary to compete globally. In order to do that, it requires a political capital that I'm not sure the Spanish government, I say government because every single layer of Spanish government, from the municipality all the way through, feels that it has to have a center of excellence of expertise. So when I'm told, well, it's all about resources, guys, because the US and MIT has $12 billion in endowment. Yeah, sure, we have resources. But in any household, you always feel you need more. And that's no different here. I say no, I've said many times, my doctor, no. I don't have a doctor. I don't have a doctorate, my doctor said no. I say no many, many times because we don't have the resources. And saying no actually gets you to excellence because the areas are better. So I've said many times when some of the Spanish politicians have come is that science and technology should be completely dissociated from politics. Completely. But that requires somebody to take a very bold action and reduce use of power at the time. But until we do that, then our time horizon for investment is 30 years, 50 years, where we invest in an assistant professor for the next 7 to 8 years. We have the resources. I have the resources in the bank when we make an offer. And when I talk to my colleagues at the university, they actually don't even have the resources for that first year of the offer. So that is part of the infrastructure or environment or ecosystem that requires changing. Changing the university is hard. Changing the government is even hard. But it does require somebody who has the charismatic leadership and the ability to really take on that problem head-on. But don't start there. I mean, I've answered many times the question, can we copy MIT? Like, well, do you have 150 years? Maybe we've learned to accelerate that and it will take 50. But you need to start small. It didn't start before. And I've kind of shared in some of my presentations that evolution and historical evolution, which I feel it is really where we should do it, and we should appreciate that in order to contribute back to Spain, it's not about us going back. Some of us will, but the personalities will dictate that transfer. It is about actually having and seeding that in the right way. And the same way that if you believe in a system, you don't fire the coach every time they lose. That's the way it should work in science and technology. I've repeated this for 15 years. I saw it when I was an intern, and I see it now when I'm kind of in the administration. I don't think the forum is secret. I don't think the forum is hard, but it does take a lot of personality and charismatic leadership.
Thank you. I think that if you have questions about the ECUSA, the panelists will be at the receptions after that, so if you have questions for them, you can ask them later. If there are any questions about the ECUSA, I think that we can enjoy to answer that. No, we're all willing to have okay, so, well, thanks the panelists for thank you all for coming. The food is at the end of the room. Thank you again, the sponsor, for the support. Please fill the survey that you will receive in the following days. As Christina said, we want your feedback and your ideas for activities. And you are more than welcome to be part of the ECUSA and to promote this kind of event. So thank you very much.